Welcome to Fil-Am Showtime. I am Sherelle Lumba, your co-host this evening. And before we start our special program we have in store, let's head over to Manila, Philippines. Let's go.
I, Manila, am a song. Come sing along. Manila, la la la, la 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 la. I, Manila, am a dance. Come and take a chance. Listen up, y'all. Come and have a taste. There's no time to waste, y'all. Surrender to the ways of the pace, yeah.
Well, I hope that you enjoy the trip to Manila, and if you're interested in actually traveling to the Philippines, we have a special trip this summer, July 11th through the 18th, that will be sponsored by the Department of Tourism. So if you are interested, please give us a call. There are limited arrangements for the trip. There's going to be a lot of fun as far as the itinerary, traveling around the Philippines, special program, as well as a trip to the Malacañang Palace and special other events such as an audience with the President. Again, if you are interested in traveling to the Philippines this summer, July 11th through the 18th, go ahead and give us a call at 350-0219. Now we have let's continue on with our program, and I believe we have a special guest tonight. Take it away, Uncle Nez.
Good evening. You are watching Fil-Am Showtime on Channel 12, your community cable channel. Welcome, I am Nez Danguilan, your host. This program is brought to you every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and repeated Sunday at 9 p.m. Para po sa inyong mga kababayan, I will repeat, ang programa will repeat every Sunday po, 9 p.m. So please pass the words around. Tonight's program, we are going to continue featuring the championship or the elimination basketball for the United Filipino Athletic Association. You will see the highlights tonight, and it's getting hot, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure you will be enjoying what you will be seeing. Tonight, we are going to have a very special guest again, ladies and gentlemen. This young man has a master's and doctoral degrees in clinical community psychology from the University of Illinois. He is now part of the core faculty in University of Alaska's Ph.D. program in clinical community psychology with a cultural and indigenous psychology emphasis. He's a very interesting person. I'm sure quite few of our young people who's been watching the basketball tournament, United Filipino, will know this young man because he is one of the great basketball player. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. E.J. David. E.J., welcome to Fil-Am Showtime.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Yeah, E.J., I just mentioned that you really have an accomplishment, but let me start with you by asking you. I know some people there doesn't know you. Quite few, I'm sure, know you. I know that guy, but really, you have to tell them exactly who you are because they know you as a Filipino American. Tell us something about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in the Philippines, so I still know how to speak Tagalog to this day. That's the only way I can still talk to my mom, because my mom doesn't speak English very well. And then my dad was able to get a job in Barrow, Alaska, back in the early 1980s, and so so that's why he moved up there, and I moved there with him when I was 14 years old. And so I went to high school there. Ended up playing high school basketball for Barrow Whalers, so go Whalers. It's March Madness right now, so I think they made the tournament. and it was a nice experience. And Barrow, a lot of people think of Barrow as an isolated place, and the only way in and out is by airplane. 6 months of darkness, 6 months of daylight, and so on. There's not much to do, but as a high school kid, around that time, I actually had a lot of fun living in Barrow, primarily because of basketball, and basketball is big in the community, and it's their one of their primary means of entertainment is basketball. So every basketball home game, the gym is packed, and the crowd's rowdy, and it's quite an experience to play
Really?
basketball for them. Yeah, and because of that, I felt like the community was able to accept me and welcome me, and really treated me very well.
All right. You were 14-year-old when was that direct from the Philippines to Barrow?
Yeah.
14-year-old.
Yeah,
It must have been a shock.
it was a big change.
Yeah. Right. Did you come winter time or summertime?
It was summertime, but it still
Oh,
felt
summertime.
like winter though.
Yeah. And you haven't seen a snow, I'm sure.
Yeah,
when
I've
you
never
arrived.
seen snow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Your mom, she don't speak English well, and
No.
and then here you are, a very educated young man. Either your father works in the fishing yard or what?
No, he actually works for the borough. So
Oh,
he,
really?
for the city there.
Oh, good. Okay.
He drives one of those big trucks with big pumps. I don't even know what you call them.
Really?
But
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Are they all successful like you, AJ?
Well, I hope they will be.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
in the
still
future.
going to school. Are you the
Yeah,
oldest?
yeah. Well, I'm the oldest son.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So my older sister, she's working right now. She still lives in the Philippines with my 2
Really?
nieces. Yeah.
Okay. Are they
So-
coming here soon? Do you think?
Yeah, they were here last summer. They're actually coming in about 3 weeks
Really?
to come visit me again. So that'll be
Okay.
fun.
Well, let's talk. You played basketball in your high school, and did you start playing basketball? At what age?
6 years old in the Philippines.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
in the
in my
Philippines.
chinelas and everything. I didn't
Yeah, I
have
know.
shoes.
They love basketball in the
Yeah.
Philippines, right? With the rubber chinelas.
Yeah,
And it's
the
unbelievable.
concrete.
So when you arrived in Barrow, that's the first thing you were asking. You guys play basketball here? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, well, it was a shock, like you said,
Mhm.
when I moved to Barrow.
Of course, you were talking Tagalog, but I'm sure you good
Yeah,
English.
I went to
yeah.
Don Bosco, Makati,
Oh,
when I was in
okay,
the Philippines.
okay,
You
that's
know,
all.
and as you know,
Yeah.
they speak English in the schools.
Yeah, that's
in the
prestigious. Yeah,
Philippines,
yeah. Don
You know,
Bosco.
so I mean, I knew a little bit of English.
Mhm.
I could understand it quite well. I was able to speak it well
Mhm.
enough to get along, but there's still an accent, and I still had difficulties expressing myself a lot of times, and
Did,
it
did
was
you
it
get
was
did
tough.
you get frustrated for a while there and say, what am I doing here? Or no?
No, it was I was too young to think of it in
Mm.
that way. At that point, to me, it was all just an adventure. You
Really?
know, it was all like it's a new place, and here I did get a little disappointed though, because coming from the Philippines, you have this idea in your head, of what America looks like, right? And then I got to Barrow, and that's not my idea of.
You mean the road was not paved with gold?
No, it's yeah. Well, it's not even paved. It's dirt road.
Yes, that's what they say in the Philippines. Go to America, you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the roads paved with gold, and like, gosh, I mean, I'm gonna slip.
Yeah.
It's too smooth. Now,
Yeah.
you were also a varsity player in your school, the Whalers that you call it?
Barrow Whalers. Yeah.
But were you that good then? You were selected to
Ye-
be one of the top players.
Yeah, I was actually I made I was an all-state selection.
Really?
My junior year, my senior year.
Yeah. Did you come and play basketball here in Anchorage?
Yeah, for the state tournament and everything.
How was it? You guys won then?
Third place.
Third place. That's not
Junior
too
year,
bad.
senior
And
year.
EJ David was one of the players.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
I bet you Barrow was really happy, and especially the
Well, we had
Filipino
a lot.
community there.
Yeah, my dad too, especially.
Did your dad play basketball when he was young?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, it was just me, because I grew up in the Philippines, and basketball is big in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
PBA and so I grew up watching Ginebra San Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You were pretty good in playing basketball when you started.
Yeah, not
you
anymore.
were good, and you never thought of trying the PBA, going to the field. Have that? occurred
yeah,
in your
that
mind?
actually, I thought about that. Actually, when I was 16 years old, I went back to the Philippines with the intention of staying there
Mm-hmm.
forever after I came back from Barrow. And I I had a friend who was playing for De La Salle, um, for the De La Salle University juniors team,
Mm-hmm.
and he got me a tryout for their team, and so I tried out and I got in, and
Really?
I was ready. I was ready to start playing, but um, I got a call from Barrow, and they decided to talk to my mom, and my mom decided that it's best for me if I go back to Barrow. 'Cause
Oh my
everyone
goodness.
just felt that there's a lot more opportunities for me here in the United States than in the Philippines.
That's true
And so
too.
I came back.
Yeah, yeah. You go back to the Philippines. Who was the sponsor? Was it the Alaska Mill
No, no,
No,
no,
no.
It was still, I was too young to play
Oh,
the
okay.
PBA back
Oh,
then,
it
but
was
they
it,
wanted me
to start,
in a way,
yeah.
to start playing
Yeah.
some college basketball and so on, and get my foot in the door all the way up
Yeah.
to.
Well, parents are always smart, so I think she made the right the right choice
Yeah,
there
I'm
for you
not
to
that
come
tall,
back. Yeah.
and yeah. So.
My son is too small, he can't be a
Yeah.
PNB. Anyway, so you went on and continue your studies.
Mhm.
When you were in high school, how was your studying? Were you doing good grades, and you have already a direction of what in your life?
In
there?
high school?
Yes, in
No,
high school.
no, no. It was, it wasn't. None of this was really planned from high school. To tell you honestly, I mean, I.
You mean you never thought you're gonna be a doctorate, a
No.
PhD?
No.
At that time, you were just goofing around.
There's no way.
Really?
Yeah, all I cared about was basketball at that
Basketball,
in high
yeah,
school.
okay.
And
But-
I did schoolwork just so I will remain eligible to play basketball.
Yeah. Well, that just shows that you can have fun and study at the same time. And some, but did you have in your mind a positive thinking that someday I'm gonna be somebody scholastically? Did that ever occur to you, or you just sort of
Not in high school.
not in high school? When did it start coming to you?
I actually didn't even think that college was an option for me,
Really?
because I had no money to go to college.
Let's
I-
talk about that. Let's
Yeah,
talk about that.
I didn't have any money. My dad couldn't afford to send me
Yes.
to college, and so I actually enlisted in the army after my junior year of high school
Okay.
because I thought that was my only option. And so I enlisted. I did all the paperwork. I came to Anchorage from Barrow, and I went through all the physical tests, and I passed all of those. And then so everything is set. The army was just waiting for me to get my high school diploma because I couldn't start basic training until I get my high school diploma. And so, but I knew what I was going to do. I knew where I was going. I was supposed to go to South Carolina for basic training. Then after that, they were going to ship me down to Alabama. And so, my senior year of high school, I was thinking I'm going to the army. After I'm done with high school, I'm going to the army. But I got lucky. All of a sudden, the University of Alaska system has a program where they give scholarships to the top 10% of each graduating class of every high school in the state. So if you are in the top 10% of your graduating class, you automatically have the scholarship to attend any University of Alaska campus for free.
Wow.
And I got lucky that I happened to be in the top 10% of my graduating class, and so I took that scholarship. I told the Army, I'm sorry, but I need to back out of that enlistment, and they were not very happy about that. But so I took the
So
scholarship.
how many years you were in the army before you decided to back out?
Well, I wasn't in the Army yet. I signed
you
up.
still trying to
Yeah,
get in?
I was still, because they were still waiting for me to get my diploma,
Mm,
my high school
okay,
diploma.
okay.
But I got the scholarship before I graduated high school, and so I told them, I know you guys been waiting for me to graduate so I can start my service, but I got the scholarship and I need to back out.
So you took that opportunity and say, this is an education for me. And knowing that your parents can, the reason why you're in the army because your parents cannot afford you, economic reasons, and all of a sudden there is this scholarship, and it's understandable, and I'm sure the army understand that. Now, obviously you got good grades for being on the top 10.
Yeah, I did.
Tell
I
us
did.
about. No, I just want to know how was your studying habit. You play basketball a lot, Didn't you play hockey and things like that at all? Just playing basketball?
I
You,
had
you maintain your
girlfriends.
good. You have girlfriend. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about your girlfriend
No,
later.
no.
Okay. Yeah. No, you were gone to high school. You're very active basketball. How do you maintain your grades? Tell what was your studying habit?
Well, it's again, the motivation was to get the school tasks finished so I can continue playing basketball, because if I didn't get good enough grades, I wouldn't be able to play basketball.
Right.
And so
That's
so
right
the
too.
main motivation is to get it done. So in terms of study habits, I guess I've always been like this for the majority of my life, is that I always believe that there's a time and place for everything.
Exactly.
And so, I actually would try and finish all my schoolwork while I was still in school, so that I didn't have to bring as much home with me.
Are you,
Because then
you hear that? Finish your schoolwork while still in school. We got lots of young kids
yeah,
here listening.
well, it
yeah.
worked for me. I'm not saying
Yes.
it'll work for everybody, but that's
Well,
that's
I've
the
heard
way
that.
I approached
You know,
it.
EJ, you're a psychologist. I've had interviewed young people, some successful young people here,
Mhm.
and they told me exactly the same thing. While they're still in school, they all finish their assignment already,
Mhm.
so that when they go home, they can do whatever they want, or
Yeah.
they can play.
Yeah.
And that's a very good advice. Now, during all this process of going to school, trying to do all your assignments, how do you attribute your family's contribution to your success? What kind of mentoring? Did you get any mentoring from any of your sibling or your parents? Or what?
Well, it's the thing is that I didn't really come from what do you call this, like a perfect family. Every family has problems, and so my parents actually got divorced
Oh,
when I
okay.
was 12, and so and I was 14 when I moved in with my dad to Barrow.
Oh, okay.
So that was tough for me, actually, to have divorced parents. My dad's always been very supportive. Is always in his own way. A lot of Filipino dads can be a little tough sometimes. A little too demanding, and a lot of times they don't really know how to express their feelings in the way that we want them to, kind of thing. It's
Yes.
they always, I don't know. At least my dad has always been. He tries to portray this, tough, emotionless kind of man. But I understood him.
But he was devoted to you. He never
he was there.
abandoned you.
Yeah, he never did. He never
He
did.
was supportive. He
Mhm.
talked to you and
Yeah.
encouraged you.
Mhm.
What part of the Philippines you folks from?
Pampanga.
Pampanga. So you Kapampangan.
Yes.
Do you speak Kapampangan?
No, I don't.
Yeah, just
I
Tagalog.
grew up in Pasay and then Las
okay.
Piñas. and
Oh,
so
so
on.
you are in the Manila area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about you going to the main thing. You
Mhm.
start studying psychology, right? Is that what you took at the UAA right away?
Yeah, no. So again, this wasn't planned, right?
Okay.
I actually started as a fine arts major.
Fine arts. You're an artist.
Yeah.
And parallel to that, were you already playing basketball with the United Filipino? Not yet.
I was. Well,
You were already-
when I went down to Anchorage, when I moved to Anchorage to go to UAA, I started playing for UFAA.
Okay.
away.
So during all these times you were playing for UFAA, you were already a student at
UAA.
UAA,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not. There's no hindrance there. It's a good exercise for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah, I was still able to graduate in 3 years. from
Right.
UAA.
Yeah. Well, let's just sway here to the UFAA.
Uh-huh.
What made you join and become athletes for the UAA or become one of the participants? What team were you with? The first time?
Athletics. I've always
You
been
were with the athletics.
Yeah, right from the
Yeah.
very
Well,
beginning.
tell us about athletics. How did you end up with the athletics, and what do you think of the team? Uncle George.
Uncle George, yeah. Well, Uncle George's always been great. The thing is, I think one of the athletics players knew a guy that I went to UAA with. So we were in the same class together.
Really?
Yeah, and so that's how I got
Is,
connected.
is
with
he
the
a doctorate
athletics.
also now? Is he?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so that's how I got connected with athletics. And I've always just enjoyed playing with them because
Yeah,
they
but
just
did they know that EJ, one of their colleague in playing basketball, is trying to get psychology and studying hard at the fine arts? Did they know that you were a student then? No,
They
no.
know I was a
They know
student.
you were a student then. Okay. Uncle
Yeah,
George
yeah.
especially, he's aware of that.
Yeah, Uncle George has always been
Yeah.
He
Now,
knows.
why did you switch from fine arts? You cannot draw or something?
Well, the thing is, when I took a psychology class my freshman year, and it was my first psychology course, and it just opened my eyes. They were talking about, yeah, I've never been, even though I got good grades in high school, I've never really been, a serious student kind of thing. But when I took the psychology course, I saw how fun, and this is going to sound really nerdy,
Yes.
but how fun science really is. And in this case, you're using science to understand people. And to me, because of what I've been through, with my parents' divorce and um, moving from the Philippines to Barrow, and the cultural conflicts and the culture shock and a lot of different things. I was really interested in why people think, behave, and feel the way that they do. And so, when I took the psychology course, it kind of started giving me some answers for those, and so I decided to pursue that even further.
Yeah, subject you talk about, and let's just give you an instance here and just give me your assessment on it. And it's very sad, okay? High school kids, parents, they buy them the car, okay? And the reason was that when I was young, I was poor. I don't want my kids to go through that, okay? Give them a brand new car, by the way. It's not just car, brand new car,
Yeah,
high school
yeah.
kid. And it's good, kids drive, go to school, graduate, go to college. Kids want some money, spend. The sad part about the whole thing is that all of a sudden there was a disconnect, and it ended up the kids got married.
Yeah,
How do you assess this thing, EJ?
Well, there's a lot of factors there. There's a lot of potential reasons for why those things
Could have that been
happen.
avoided?
Um, yeah, I would say it could have been avoided, definitely. But
By the
again,
parents?
right now,
If I
it's,
would
yeah.
you say we shouldn't give a car then?
No, well, I don't think that's one thing. I don't think we can completely blame that particular incident for everything that happened, after it. Or we can't, again, the point is not to blame the parents or blame the kids. It's really to understand that maybe there's different cultural values that are going
It goes
on
back
right
to
now.
what you're saying, the cultural values in here.
Yeah, so maybe the parents in this case, even though the child, again, that's a very typical, like a Filipino kind of a value system there, where even when the child is grown up, with a wife and and they're about to have kids, the parents still expect some authority, over that adult child, but in the typical American culture, they have this magic number 18, that once you become 18, you don't really have to answer to your parents anymore. Again, right?
American culture, right?
Yeah,
right.
so again, so maybe, again, it's,
That was it. Yeah, that's probably why. So what? I'm gonna
so
get
maybe
married.
the child in this case didn't really mean any disrespect to the parents by not telling, the parents everything that's going on, because he's an adult now.
Yeah, it's America. We're not
So
in
again, I'm
Pilipinas.
not blaming anybody. It's just understanding
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we live in a different world now.
Right. Let's talk about the young adults here that as they grow up in high school, especially when you start taking your doctorate degree at the University of Illinois, you were invited by the TFC, and that was the subject. What did you think of that? You think you guys got the message out there?
Yeah, well, the show, it was talking about really the divide between those who were Filipinos who were born in the United States, Filipinos who immigrated into the United States from the Philippines. This divide between a group of people who are called fobs, and I'm sure many people have
Fresh out of the
fresh off the boats,
Yeah, fresh off
or
the boats.
nowadays it's fresh off the Boeing.
Yeah.
It's the airplane. But it's really about that particular group of Filipinos, and Filipinos who either were born here or grew up here, and are very American now in terms of their values and so on. And there's a divide between them, and and again, just the use of the term fob is that's usually associated with something very funny or something that is, that you need to separate yourself from, because there's a perception that FOBs, they speak funny, they dress funny, they act funny. Why can't they just
They bring their own food at school.
yeah, they smell funny, they bring lumpia and they smell like lumpia all the time. What's going on?
Yeah.
But
Well, that's kind of sad though,
Yeah,
because there's a
absolutely.
separation here.
Mhm.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest here is Mr. E.J. David. He's a psychologist and currently with the UAA.
Yeah, so they can actually go to www.colonialmentality.com, and
www.colonialmentality. That's pretty good.
yeah, colonialmentality.com.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of information there about the history of the Philippines, especially the colonization period under Spain, the United States, and psychologically what those experiences might have done.
All right. And parting words. Do you have a special message to our young people that's watching tonight before we say
Young
goodnight?
people. Well, I still consider myself a young person, so hopefully I
You
can
are.
still relate to the young people. Although maybe I won't be able to. Anyway, well, the thing is in terms of being Filipino, it sounds cliche, but really it's just there's really nothing that we should be ashamed of or embarrassed about for being Filipino. We need to acknowledge the bad things about them. There are, the Filipino culture, the Filipino ethnicity is not perfect, but nothing is. And, again, the whole point of trying to understand ourselves, especially, Filipino Americans, you're both Filipino and American. You're not just one or the other. And, so really the goal here is to be able to understand both of yourselves here, the Filipino side and the American side. You need to appreciate the positives and the negatives of both cultures, and and try and pick, identify the positives, and live and use the positives, and not to pay too much attention on the negatives.
Right. EJ, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.
All right, and there you are, ladies and gentlemen, my very special guest, Mr. EJ David. He is with the UAA and the Ph.D. program in the clinical community psychology with cultural and indigenous psychology emphasis. And also, he's a basketball player for the
It's the most
UFAA
important thing.
athletic team. Let's give him a big, big applause. Thank you.
Hey. Cool.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
That was a great interview with EJ.
All right, I was really impressed with this young man. As you know, he started when he was only 14 years old, arriving in America, and being very Filipino, and he accomplished so many things. And what an accomplishment! PhD,
That is incredible.
incredible. And talking about because he's also a basketball player. Let's talk about the UFAA. As you know, the United Filipino Athletic Association is now they eliminated quite few teams already, including Fil-Am Showtime. Fil-Am Showtime is now out officially.
But there's always next season, Uncle Ness.
Next season, and we're hoping we're gonna get the same team. And already we're talking about trying to get the young kids join us. Because we gotta beat some of these old foggies out there. They're good. So talking about it, why don't we just show the highlights and find out who is still.
Let's go, Fil-Am! Let's go! Hey, I told you he was playing. I told you he was playing.
football games. Very,
It is. It sure is, and I can hardly wait